like, what day is it? Happy Thursday, everybody. Don't worry, I totally know what class is coming up. We're about to do a really awesome HIIT circuit. Changing up the way we're gonna get through our HIIT circuit today. It's gonna be set up a little bit more like some of the core and upper body or lower body classes. So we're gonna have 3 different moves that we're gonna do in a circuit, 3 times each with no breaks for that circuit, and then we'll take a nice little break and then we'll move on to a whole new set of moves. So like usual, I still am going to present you with a little bit of an easier option to get started with for round 1. And then I'm going to talk you through some ways that we can make it a little bit harder for round 2 and for round 3. If you find that the increased challenge isn't working for you, just stick with the basic moves. I put everything in the info so you know what's coming up. You can get excited or be not excited. This is a body weight only workout. It's somewhat of a not quite repeating workout because you do have an option to switch things up a lot. Make sure you have some water. If you can turn some music on for yourself to keep the energy high and get in as many reps as possible, put some music on. Enjoy it as much as you want to. We officially start in 3 minutes. I'm gonna find some water. Find it. I'm coming to the kitchen with my double-pronged stick and I'm searching for water. I think I found a source. Lots of high quality H2O. We officially start in 2 more minutes, but if you're here early and you wanna move around, just get up out of your chair, just start to shake those shoulders around, especially if you've got some music going so it seems a little bit less weird. Like, move around a little bit, start to open up those hips. It seems silly, but these hip circles, yes, hip circles, can help you to take some of that stress that you might have been feeling from sitting in a chair for a long time. It's already just afternoon. Some of us have been at the computer since 6 a.m. Maybe you've been at the computer since before that. Okay. No judgment. Here we are now, whatever time it is for you today. Oh, I did forget to look at that. Just gonna see again. Okay. All right, so we got a lot of work that's actually going to take place down on the floor today, but we will still get started standing up. There's Monday's coffee, just going to push that to the side. So excited to be back teaching with y'all live again this week. Hopefully you got to check out some of the different classes for March Madness. I'm sure that you might not have loved them all. That's okay. There's a different trainer for every person, for everybody. I know I checked out some classes that were a beast, some that I definitely intend to continue attending when I have some free time. Or we can get you links to a lot of the different teachers' videos if you found something you liked. And I can't tell you how happy it makes them to hear that you're interested. All right. It's that magical time. Let's go ahead and get started, y'all. Hey, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. Make sure you have some space for yourself. We're gonna get on the floor. You don't need any equipment today. And let's start our warm-up. So feel free to shake those shoulders out. If you haven't put music on and it's an option for you, put that music on, have some fun. All right, our first move of the day, let me just start a timer so I know how long we've been here. It's gonna be a delightful march. So just picking those feet up. If you want, you can point those toes down towards the floor as you march. Start thinking about drawing your belly in to get your core contracted. Keeping that chest lifted, open, shoulders are starting to engage. If you want, you can have your hands at your side for a little bit of balance. You can even work your arms a little bit more, your abs. Well, you work your shoulders by bringing those arms up overhead. Keep up with this march for 5, 4, 3, 2. We're gonna switch to a figure 8 with the arms. So a little bit more of a side body twist. Getting a little crunch action going. Maybe you want to focus a little bit more on taking some big lateral side steps here as well. As you can, continue to relax your shoulders away from your ears as your hands come down towards the floor. Still focusing on that belly. Nice and pulled in. Make sure you're still breathing. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Plant your feet really wide. We're going to step into some side lunges. So starting off really wide all the way over to whichever side you want. We're going to lift ourselves up, bring our feet together, challenge that balance. Step right back into that same side lunge. We'll do 5 on each side. So you're bringing the weight to your heels and you're shifting your hips to the back of the room. So your chest can come down a little bit, but you're making sure that you're coming down with a nice flat back. Did we get 5? If you did, let's go ahead, switch to the other side. So opposite knee bends, hips go back behind us, and then stand yourself up. You can always go a little bit less if you need to, if that's what feels right for your body today. Last 2. Then we're going to keep those feet nice and wide. Awesome. Stretch those arms out to the side, shifting a little bit more weight to your toes. Just tap your opposite foot. And if you want, you can still bring that bend to your knee if that feels good for you. Let's get 4 more each side. 3, 2, 1. Air squats coming up next. So lift yourself up. You can keep your feet nice and wide if you want, or heel toe your feet in a little closer. I'm going to do some goddess air squats, a little inner outer thigh work, as opposed to those narrow squats, getting a little bit more of the quads, glutes, and hams. So here we go. Let's get 5, 4, weight in your heels, whichever squat you decided to do. 2, still keeping that chest up as best you can. Awesome. Nice work. Grab yourself a quick sip of water if you want it, and then let's come on down to the floor. Okay, making sure everything's good. Got my timer. Perfect. So our first round is going to start off with some glute bridges. Glute bridges, ab bikes, and then push-ups into Superman. These are all moves that we've done before. So let's just lay ourselves down on the floor. Ah, beautiful. Go ahead, walk your heels close towards your glutes. Think of this as still a warm-up. We've got 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. You can keep your arms relaxed down by your side and keep your shoulders pressed into the floor or mat and keep your forearms down to help you stabilize a little bit more. Or you can always cross your arms over your chest or reach up towards the ceiling to make things more challenging even here in round 1. We're going to lift up and make sure you're lifting everything at the same time so you're not rolling up and rolling down. That back starts flat on the floor and lifts up with everything and lowers. 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and then we're gonna stay on our backs and take our most gentle form of an ab bicycle in 3, 2, 1. Glute bridges, here we go. So up and down, and you can go at whatever pace works for you today. I really like to think while doing glute bridges about working with the breath. So inhale up, exhale down. Make sure that your knees stay in line with your hips. They're not knocking in or out, and you're equally pressing through those feet on the floor. You could be in a delightful wide bridge or a more narrow bridge, just finding what feels right for your body today. See if you can just keep this nice steady pace. 15 seconds left. Really press into those heels. Squeeze those glutes to lift up. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. Awesome.
Go ahead, draw your knees up into tabletop. We'll start this next first bicycle from tabletop, simply pressing that heel out as low to the floor as you can. Keep your foot flexed, so toes back towards your face, and begin. If you need to, you can bring your thumbs under your bum for a little bit more balance here, or even draw your knees a little closer in towards your chest to take a little bit of the work out of your lower abs. If you want to work harder, keeping those knees further away from the center line of the body and pressing that heel out close to the floor, it's going to work those lower abs just a little bit more. Make sure that lower back stays down on the mat. If you find that it's lifting, do your kick a little bit more up towards the ceiling. We're almost there. Yay, now we get to turn over and we're going to do push-ups. Push-ups on the way down, and then when you get down there, full stop, give yourself a little Superman. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and press yourself back up. Begin. You can do this one on your toes. Maybe you need to work a little bit slower. You can do this one on your knees. And if you need a real modification and you need to be down here, up here, I mean, in tabletop, you're just gonna miss out a little bit on that Superman, but you can reach your arm forward in a bird dog and still get a little bit of back work in there. So a little something for everyone. Keep it up wherever you're at today. Make sure that chest is coming down towards the floor, not just your belly. Whatever position that you're in, 5 seconds left. Hands, palms right under the chest for those push-ups. Great work. All right, we're gonna turn over, come right into our next glute bridge. This time, option to add in an alternating overhead reach each time those glutes lift up. Begin. So just reaching up towards the opposite side. You can even look to that side, starting to get a little bit more of the upper body involved. Feel it a little bit more through your back and your lats. Still make sure you're pressing into your heels. Great work. See if you can lift those hips a little bit higher as you reach that arm behind you. And if this does not honor your body today, stick with those same glute bridges that we started with. Next, we're coming up to another version of an ab bike. Ab bike, that sounds like something I want to buy on Amazon. Take a break. All right, so now we're going to be up on our elbows and do the same kick out, one leg at a time, keeping those knees in. If you want, you can even alternate each time. Still, it's going to be easier. Begin. If you have your knees close towards your chest, it's going to be a little bit less work than if you have your knees further from the center line of your body. Pull that lower belly in, still keeping that real low back on the floor. So breathing, chest is lifted. Nice work, we're 2/3 of the way there. Really focus on that press through your heel. Getting a little tired, how about y'all? We're still going though, we got this. Nice, all right, turn over. Back to those push-ups and Supermans. This time I want you to find a pause on the way down on your push-up. So pause halfway through, come all the way down, bring in your Superman, and then press yourself up. Awesome. Begin, pause on the way down, lower all the way, lift yourself up. Still possible if you need to be here in tabletop to pause on the way down. Weight is in the palm of your hand. Go a little bit lower, lift yourself up, and you can still find that bird dog. You can make it harder as well. If you are on your knees, add that leg in. Awesome. Keep doing whatever feels right for your body. I want you to make sure you find a challenge for yourself today. Make sure you're adding that back work in. Just about 10 seconds left. Putting that pause in into your push-up. So good. It's going to help those of us who are looking to get a nice, take a break, chaturanga in. All right, turn over last time through. For this glute bridge, we're going to work into the hamstrings a little bit more because we're going to march it out and bring it back in. The challenge is going to be to keep your hips high the whole time. Begin. Arms down on the mat. It's going to help you stabilize right here. You can alternate which foot you're leading with, because I'm going to be honest with you, can't see the timer, so I can't tell you when we're halfway. Keep that upper back body on the floor, and each time you come back through the center, lift those hips again. If you find you're feeling tired and you need a break, can you just hang out for a couple seconds, a couple breaths in each version of the glute bridge? So we're working our glutes a little bit more specifically, opening hips here, and we're working the hamstrings a little bit more when those feet walk out. If you want, you can even walk out a little bit further. Take a break. Awesome. Lower it down. Next up, we're going to go for a full ab bike. So arms up by our head, lifting opposite shoulder off of the floor to reach for the knee. Take a big breath and begin. Remember, a lot of ab work is not about moving as fast as you can. That's using a lot of momentum. A lot of times if you're moving a little bit slower, really focusing on keeping your core in, on not using your hands to pull your head, of really lifting that upper body to meet that lower body, and not just drawing your knee a little closer towards your nose. Yeah, okay, things are still going well. We got one more move after this, then we got a nice little break coming up. Keep that belly pulled in as best you can. So close, y'all. Awesome. Turn over, and if you didn't see it coming this time, we're going to hang out for an extra breath or two in the Superman. So after you lower yourself all the way down from the push-up, lift everything up, hold for an extra breath, and come back into your push-up. Begin. So regular speed push-up, extra hold on your Superman. If you have more space and you can extend those arms in front of you, extend those arms in front of you. If you want to challenge yourself and do push-ups from your knees, if you normally do them in tabletop, and you need to move a little slower, or you're trying them from your toes, or you're doing a combo of both. Keep it up. 10 seconds left from right here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Send your hips towards your heels. Take a couple breaths here in child's pose. Allowing your head to come down below heart's level is going to help to start bringing your heart rate down to give you that sensation of relaxation. And the more that you slow down your exhale, the more that's going to help too. All right, take your time as you're ready. Feel free to come out of this child's pose, or you can always hang out for a little bit longer. Grab yourself a sip of water. Let's take a full minute. I'm going to set an honest timer. Full minute. No talk about exercise. Just rehydrating. If you can move around for a little active recovery, definitely encourage that active recovery. Whew. And I'm going to lead by example and make sure that I have some water too. Chug, chug, chug. All right, we do get to take some time off of our mats. Oh, I'm not talking about exercise. I'm sorry. No exercise talk for 20 more seconds. What's fun in your lives, y'all? Anyone cooked anything delicious today? I'm making buffalo cauliflower salad for a post-workout lunch. I'm really excited. Thinking about showing you guys how I make that for lunch with the trainer. It's my favorite. It's the recipe of 2021. Okay, so we're gonna be on and off of the mats here for round 2. But we're gonna get started on the mat. All right. So come on back down, and we're gonna get into a butterfly position. We have a variety of frog moves coming up for round one. And the first is just gonna be reclined in this position, and we're gonna do a crunch. Then we get to stand up and do some air squats and bird dog, which some of you already got to enjoy today, but the rest of us will join you. Okay, so lower yourself down. We're just gonna do some crunches right here. So just a little bit of a lift up. Make sure that lower back stays on the floor. You can even press into the outer edges of your feet. I know you're getting a lot of stretch and opening here with those legs open as well. And without having your feet planted on the floor, it's gonna make you have to use those abs a little bit more to lift yourself up. Make sure you have that nice neutral chin. What is a trin? Is that like my version of a triple chin? I'm cursed. Okay, make sure you have your chin neutral, like you're holding onto a delightful grapefruit, so it's not a deep tucking to choke your throat, and it's not an extra stretch up to the ceiling, because I want your necks to feel amazing. If you want, you can reach forward with your hands. I'm gonna bring my knuckles right by the side of my head, so I'm not applying any pressure with my hands, really just using those abs to lift up the whole way. Did you like your extra break? Cool, because we're gonna work for the next 9 minutes with 15-second breaks. All right, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. Let's enjoy this first part on our backs. Pull your belly in, glue that lower back down. We start in 3, 2, 1 for a nice frog crunch. Now, if you want to, you can stay lifted this whole time. If you want to work a little bit harder, really burn those abs out, or work to control, lower yourself all the way down. So maybe you give yourself a couple little extra pulse crunches here at the top, and then you give yourself a little break. It's not like you took like a huge break, you know? Plus, you're still gonna keep doing the best you can for all 45 seconds of work. And even if you find that you need to take a longer break, if you gotta take a couple breaths, you're still enjoying a beautiful stretch towards your inner thighs and your hips. Ah, yes. Okay, we made it. Stand up. We got air squats coming up next. This will be the only option of the squat that you can do narrow, because we're really going to mix it up moving forward. So your choice, you can start in this goddess squat or give a narrow squat, which is going to get 45 seconds. Whichever kind of squat you're going, obviously I'm going for that goddess squat. You want to make sure that the weight is in your heels and you're pressing up through your heels as you squeeze your glutes at the top. So if you're pressing up through your heels, you don't have to make an extra squeeze of those glutes at the very top and do any super awkward locking out of your knees. Just simply find that lift through the heels. Keep your chest lifted. And make sure you're breathing. I'm sure you heard my breath right now. I sort of forgot for a second, if you can believe it, that we were on camera. That's why I talk. Okay, next we're gonna come back down to the floor. We got bird dog coming up next. So hands, palms underneath of your shoulders, and we're just gonna alternate which hand we extend with the opposite leg. Make sure you have space and begin. I stay down on the floor. You can even keep your knee bent if you want to and do a little bit more of a glute kickback. I'm gonna hang out there just because my space is a little bit limited. Getting some real good glute work in round one here. In the next couple of rounds, we're gonna get a lot more into our upper body, shoulders, get those abs really burning. Starting with bird dog, but this is gonna end with some bear moves. Rawr. Okay, great work, y'all. We're gonna turn back over after this. We got a frog leg extension. We're gonna keep upper bodies, turn around. Upper body, upper back stays down on the floor. Once again, bring the soles of those feet together. And you're gonna bring your heels in and out. If you need to, you can always reach it up towards the ceiling. Begin. It's gonna be a lot easier if you bring it in and down and reach up towards the ceiling than it is if you extend it all the way out. So once again, thumbs under the sides of your glutes is going to help you stabilize. I want you to make sure that lower back stays on the floor. And you might hear some crunching and cracking through those hips or hip flexors right now as you draw those knees up. Ugh, I feel it. This is a great one right after those squats. Now I wish I did the other kind of squat. No, it is what it is. It is what it is, y'all. Oh, so good. All right, next up, we're going to come into a nice wide squat, and we're just gonna switch from a low lunge, come through the squat, to a low lunge on the other side. Focus on keeping the outer edge, of your feet on the floor. So you wanna make sure as you come to this side that you don't round into your big toe, and that might mean that maybe you don't get quite as low in your squat, and that's okay. To really work to press through the outer edge of your foot, make sure the weight is still in your heels. You can have your hands at your hips. I like to keep hands at the chest so that I still am working to keep that chest lifted. Just switch from side to side. Focus on pressing that baby toe side of the foot into the floor. And as you do, you'll feel that fire up in that inner and outer thighs. Or you can always stick with air squats. Awesome. Come on back down towards the floor. We got bear coming up next. So starting back off in tabletop, tuck your toes under. You're gonna lift yourself on your knees, tap your opposite shoulder, and then you can place your knees back down on the floor. Begin. If you need a modification from that, think about just pressing your knees up off of the floor and lowering your knees back down. Try to have as flat of a back as you can enjoy right here. And when those knees are lifted, if you're going for those alternate shoulder taps, you're doing your best to not rock too much side to side. So you stay squared down to the mat and your knees lift up off of the mat as little as possible. Hands, palms are underneath of your shoulders. I know this one can be a lot on your wrists. If your wrists are tired, you can always come and do this on your knuckles. Awesome. Turn back over. One more round through, y'all. Next, we're back onto our frog. This time we're gonna go for a full frog sit-up. So give yourself room behind you to bring those arms behind you, tap the floor, sit up, tap in front of you. Begin. Careful as you roll yourself down, one vertebrae at a time, and see if you can lift yourself up using your abs. So not just throwing your arms and following your arms. Maybe you even treat it a little bit more like Pilates. So bring your arms in front of your chest and then like a zombie, lift yourself up. Oh yeah, I feel that in those lower abs. It's a lot of work to find that total lift. You get a nice stretch as you tap that floor in front of you as well. You gotta work. All right, awesome. Next up, we're gonna come back into those low side to side lunges. But we're gonna challenge our balance and add a leg lift. So low to the side, leg lift. Just try to lift that foot off the floor. And then glue the outer edge of the foot down. Can you still keep a little lift in your chest so you're just not rounding down and collapsing to the floor? You're breathing. We're having so much fun today. I'm having a blast right now, y'all. I hope that you're enjoying the variety of moves that I'm adding into today's class. Any favorites? Let me know. Let me know so I can be sure to bring them back. Awesome. Come on back down to the floor. We're gonna bear walk or plank walk this time. Get a little bit more lateral action going. So walking to the side, still keeping those knees in. Give yourself shoulder taps at the end and walk back. Begin, or you're staying right here and maybe you're reaching forward, just a little bit of a forward reach instead of simply lifting your knees off the floor. Sometimes I find I need to move one limb at a time when you're first starting this, a little bit more crab-like. And if you can do nothing else, just hang out in bear with those knees gently lifted off of the floor. We're just applying a little bit of pressure. You can always bring them back down for a break, or just lift and lower. Really gonna fire those abs up right here. 3 seconds left. Yay! Give yourself a round of applause. We're doing awesome. And we got 1 round left to go. But first you get a minute of non-exercise conversation. We'll let that timer stop first. How are we doing? Oh my God, we're doing great. Grab some water. Minute starts right now. Hi, Fred. Fred has been like drunk on peanuts for the past couple days because I ordered a couple new 5-pound bags and one of them fell against the cage door. And she was secretly snacking on that for a while. Made her real happy. She's been very nice since she's been drunk on peanuts. So that's at least something. All right, still find some movement here during this active recovery time. Hopefully you've got some music going that just makes you want to keep moving. If you see me in any of the live classes, I always turn on music on my end and I dance the whole way through. Okay. Oh, we get to start out standing for this next one. I'm gonna think of this as a little bit of a recovery move. Why would we need a recovery move? We'll see. All right, so the very first move that we're gonna do is just a high knee march. And if you want, you could add in those arm twists like we were doing during the warm-up to get a little bit more of those obliques firing. Or if you choose, you can just hang out right here with a high knee march. Next up, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna do some seated tricep work. If you would prefer to use the couch or a chair to make your first round of tricep work more challenging, you can. And then we're going to go for a double lunge burpee or squat thruster or whatever it is that you're gonna bring to the party today. All right, and I'll show you when we get there. Okay, so starting off with just these high knees, this is our last 9 minutes of work, and then we get to relax and you can do whatever you want to with the rest of your day. We start in 3, 2, 1, begin. So just march it out. If you want, you can even add in a little bit of a hop here, have some fun, whatever you want to do. We're just making sure we're moving, we're getting those knees up. Maybe you'd prefer to go for some fast high knees. Make sure that belly is pulled in nice and tight and work to drive that knee up. The more that you move your arms, the more energy you're gonna burn and the better you might feel, because I know that we're all here to feel good, to find some movement. I like to keep it weird. I like to keep it weird. This is my favorite move lately. 3, 2, 1, great work. Come on down to the mat, starting off with our easiest tricep move. We're gonna keep our glutes down on the floor, fingers pointed towards them, and then bending the elbows and pressing ourselves back up. That's it. If this is too easy, you can always lift your glutes up off the floor, but make sure that you're not just dropping your bum back down. Make sure you're really working to bend those elbows and press through your hands, palms to lift yourself back up. To fire the triceps, the back of the arm. Oh, yes. Keep that chest nice and lifted as well. Still find that engagement of that abdominal core. and your breath. Great. Way to go. We are so close. Yay! All right, next up, we've got our double lunge burpee. And this one doesn't change the whole time through. All right, so you're gonna go for a lunge and then a lunge. If you want, you can jump. Hands down, step or jump out. You can add a push-up, step or jump in, lift yourself up and begin. All right, so we got a lunge to the back, or just a step back if you need to. Find that big reach, lower, step out, and either step or jump in. I'm gonna keep the intensity on the low side. I wish I could add in some big jumps, but I gotta be respectful of my neighbor, unfortunately. Ugh. Me being respectful of my neighbor. How dare I? How dare I? 5 seconds left, and then we're gonna come into some high kicks. Awesome. So for our high kicks, you're just gonna alternate those kicks. If you want, you can add in a little triple step, and as high as feels good for you today. Keep your foot flexed in this one. Awesome. Reach for that foot. Keep your chest lifted. So don't reach for your foot if it makes you round yourself down through that lower back. Think more of your foot reaching towards your hand. And it is okay if they are nowhere near each other, especially if you don't get a lot of stretching in. This is a tough move on those tight hamstrings on the back of your leg. Next, we're gonna get on the floor, do some crab walking. Sounds delicious. Awesome. Make your way down to the mat. All right, if you need to, remember, you can always just stick with that tricep press like we did a moment ago. You can hang out just here in tabletop. If it's possible, we're gonna just add some walking. Use the space you have around you. Just a little walking forward. Maybe get a little sideways walk in. See if you can really lift those hips up too. So just taking these steps is gonna make you bend your arm and get that tricep working. Maybe you're having a little bit more fun. When's the last time you got to do a crab walk? Look at all the great animals we've imitated today so far. Birds, dogs, bears, crabs, bikes, you know, the bike animal. All right, yay. What's next? Oh, we're back to our double lunge burpee because I didn't change that one up. You can always turn it into a single leg burpee if you can jump. I cannot jump though, I can't jump in here. All right, so get that nice double lunge in. You can even turn it into a jumping lunge. So you could really jump to switch out, or maybe you want to give yourself a couple little fast knees right here and then come back into your step out or true burpee. Get those reps in, as many as you can do in these 45 seconds. We've only got one more time through, y'all. Yay, all right. So this time we're going to mix up our knees. 4 knees, 4 kicks. 3, 2, 1, begin. If you would prefer to do 2, you can do 2. Just do a couple of one, and then the same number as the other. It's a little more challenging as you go from one to the other to really work to keep that chest lifted, to resist the urge to reach down to the floor to catch your extended toe. Also, starting to get a little tired here after those burpees too. Keep it up. Last time through. Use those big arms. Bring a smile to your face if you can. Oh, we're gonna add a kick into our crab walk dip kick. Crab walk dip. It's like when I thought they were talking about IHOPs in the meeting yesterday. So you're just gonna walk a little bit, add in an intentional dip, begin, kick, kick. You're starting to, we're walking. Extra little dip, make sure you're making it happen from the arms, not just dropping the glutes. And then a little balance challenge right here. Come on, y'all. We got just over 1 minute of total work left to do today. So bring it here for our last 15 seconds of crab walk dip kicks. Starting to perspire. 3, 2, 1. We made it. Awesome. All right, stand up. Last time through of our double lunge burpee. Then you get a minute to yourself. Begin. Remember, you can jump switch this lunge out. You can add in an extra push-up if you didn't think you got enough earlier. You can add in a kick here if you want to. It's the last round. Challenge yourself. Make it fun though, so that you finish feeling good and you're like, wow, that was so much fun. I want to come back. I want to come back tomorrow and do more because like I feel awesome right now. And you should. Just showing up, just showing up. So awesome. Think about all the people. Finish this last one out. You're worth it, you're worth it. Yes, the timer beeps, but you can finish this last one. Think of all the people who didn't even want to try today. Bam, 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 bam. We made it. 1 minute, hydration, active recovery. Just keep moving around. Maybe take a sweaty selfie of yourself. I'd love to see. I would love to see your sweaty selfies, y'all. Let's normalize sweating in front of our coworkers because hopefully we're gonna get to do it again in person by the end of this year. Oh, pardon me, there is a hole in my chin. Oopsie doodles. Still moving. Just slow it down. Keep it gentle. Really focus on your breath. Oh, nice. All right, grab one more sip of water, or a sip of water if you didn't have any yet. Finally starting to sort of get warm out. So it's the perfect time to really tune back into your hydration needs. All right, let's take a nice seat on the floor. We'll start out easy. Kick one leg out and fold the opposite leg in so the sole of one foot is touching the opposite thigh bicep, and then turn towards your extended leg. Awesome. Find some lift through your spine. Flex your toes back towards your face and hinge forward as much as feels good for you while you can still have that flat back. So you might even want to walk those glutes behind you just a little bit so you're not rounding into this stretch. And if you found that you were rounding, pull that chest through, bring your belly a little closer towards your thighs and stay squared with this extended leg. You'll feel a nice stretch throughout the side body of the bent knee. Feels good. All right, walk yourself back in. Let's switch it out. So actively turn towards your extended leg.
Bring that belly a little closer towards your thigh. So really hinging forward at the hips. Flex your toes back towards your face. Great work. Lift yourself up. Let's take another bound angle or butterfly or cobbler right here. Option to even bring your fingers underneath of your little toes. You can bring those legs in as close as feels good for you today. And if you have trouble reaching those feet, that's fine as well. If it feels good, you can even apply some pressure with your elbows towards the outside of your knees. Or if your knees are so far from the floor, bring one hand behind you like a kickstand and use your opposite hand to gently press that knee into the floor. You can take a little bit of a twist in your spine, kind of stretching your shoulders here, and then do the same thing for the opposite side. Oh, that feels really good. If anyone else wants to join us in finding a little twist in your cobbler. Oh, cobbler, that sounds delicious too. Clearly, I'm hungry. Okay, let's switch this stretch up just a little bit. So instead of bringing the sole of the foot towards the inside of the thigh, might be easier if we start off in deer pose. So going with your knees bent in front of you, just drop them to one side and then sit yourself up to work to get both glutes on the floor. Take a couple breaths right here. And then we're going to take a back leg and bring it in as close as possible. Extend your front leg in front of you. And can you bring your two thighs towards each other? Nice little runner stretch right here. Big stretch happening on the top of your ankle as well. Awesome. Extend both those legs in front of you. If you want, you can bend your knees again. Find that little windshield and drop to the opposite side. Starting off in deer pose, once again, work to relax that back glute down towards the floor and find a nice lift of your chest. Just a couple breaths right here. Then go ahead, fold that back leg in a little bit more and extend your opposite leg. Bring your two thighs side by side. Once again, getting a nice stretch into your ankle. Nice stretch in the quad too. Hope you feel it. We're going to bring you one more little stretch just to make sure that we can get into there. All right, so extend your legs forward, and then behind you, we're going to come up into tabletop. Got just a couple minutes left together. Awesome. Go ahead, bring that right foot forward. And place your right hand right at the edge of the foot. So the knee is right by your shoulder, and you can even apply some pressure of your knee into your shoulder. Your knee is stacked right on top of the heel or maybe the arch of your foot. And as you really press into that, you should start to feel this front quad starting to stretch out. Awesome. You can wiggle that foot a little bit further forward and shift your hips forward to get a nice little hip opener. And now you might even feel a big stretch on the back leg quad. If you don't and you want to bring it there, you can bend that knee and either be pretty active right here just with that knee bent, or maybe you can reach back and grab hold of your foot. Ooh. And it's okay if that front knee comes out to the side just a little bit. Awesome. Let's switch it around. So coming back through to tabletop, start out this time with the left foot coming in. So you're still pretty squared in tabletop. There's no stretch happening in the back leg just yet. You're bringing your outside of the shoulder armpit to the inside of your knee and your palm. And the pinky finger are right next to the arch of the left foot. You're pressing them in towards each other. Take a couple breaths. Awesome. Let's go ahead, walk it a little further forward. Come into that nice big hip opening stretch. So hips are squared down towards the mat. If you want, you can bend that back leg. I think it's actually easier to reach for it with your opposite hand. You can use the same hands like we did a second ago though. This I think is a great opportunity to find a little bit more of a relief in that neck to really reduce any sort of crunching.
Beautiful, release. Bring your hands back down towards the floor. Bring those knees together. Send your hips back towards your heels. Let's find ourselves in child's pose. One more time. Stretch through those fingers. Get a nice stretch into your shoulders. We did use that upper body and back for some support today and some planks. And then bring it all the way forward. Take a moment, stretch those abs. Lift yourself up here in Cobra. When you're ready, tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling, and then walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. Firmly plant those feet on the floor. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Shift the weight into your heels. And then slowly roll yourself up. Inhale those arms overhead. Stretch them up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your glutes, hips forward. Look up. Touch the ceiling. Find that stretch on your belly. Relax your shoulders from your ears. And then relax your arms down by your side. Yay! That's it, y'all. We made it. We got some great time in for a stretch at the end too. I hope that you got to come today and that you finished feeling awesome. I know I feel so much better than when we started. If you have any questions or concerns about anything I said and we did, please reach out and I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great day.